Good afternoon everyone. So welcome back to your biology practical class, and as you know that in my previous class I have shown you some specimens for the identification part. So Paulumi, please let me know, can you hear me properly or not? Okay, very good. So today I will show you another one, a major experiment, that is the test for presence of sugar in urine, test for presence of albumin in urine. Okay, so today I will show you how you have to test the presence of sugar and albumin in urine. Okay, so in the part A, if you see the syllabus, revised syllabus, so you will be able to find it out under the heading A, practical number 5 and 6. Practical number 5 is test for presence of sugar in urine and test for presence of albumin in urine. Okay, so first I will tell you how you have to perform this practical, and after that I will show you the process. So you have to write it down into two separate practical, and you have to draw the diagram which is provided in the book. That means you have to draw the test tubes, and you have how you are performing this practical, you have to draw it on the left side of the page. Okay, so as you know that a large number of volatile and non-volatile waste products are produced in various metabolic pathways in our body. Okay, so we have to excrete those waste products. Already you have read in the theory portion the chapter excretion. So what is the meaning of excretion? That removal of those metabolic wastes, that means mainly nitrogenous wastes. Okay, so we need to release or eliminate those wastes from our body. Okay, so and urea, as you know that some nitrogenous wastes are produced in human body, and as humans are ureotelic, that means humans can produce urea. Okay, so our major element that can be excreted, that is the urea. And how we eliminate this urea? Through our urine, right? So usually the urine of a normal person is pale yellow in color, and it contains urea, water and other nitrogenous waste like small amount of ammonia, uric acid, creatinine, hippuric acid and some mineral salts and some non-nitrogenous organic substance. So these are the different composition of urea. Now if you want to know the characteristics of the general characteristics of the urine, so already I have mentioned the color, that is the yellow color. Why? Because of the presence of a pigment urochrome. Okay, so urine is yellowish in color due to presence of a pigment which is called as urochrome. Okay, and urobilin, it is a degraded product of bilirubin and hemoglobin. And what is the odor? That it is aromatic when fresh, but it is later it turn ammoniacal due to degradation of urea by the bacteria. Okay, and its specific gravity is 1.010 to 1.40. Okay, and pH is near about 6, that means acidic. Okay, and already I have mentioned what are the composition. Mostly it is composed of water, that means 95 to 96% water, 2% urea and some dissolved substances are present. But if a person is suffering from certain metabolic or renal disorders, they may excrete glucose, albumin, acetone, bile salts in their urine. Okay, so now we are coming to the main point, that why this practical is in our syllabus. That means if a person is suffering from any kind of disorder which is related, that means renal disorder, or suffering from certain metabolic disorder, they may excrete glucose, albumin, acetone, bile salts through their urine. Okay, so for that we have to know, we have to test the urine that if there is any abnormality is present or not. Okay, so that is the reason why we are performing the test for the presence of sugar in urine and the test for the presence of albumin in urine. Now if we get the sugar, that means you know that sugar is a carbohydrate, or you can call it glucose, that it can be found in the diabetes mellitus. Okay, and if protein, albumin is a protein, so protein can be also found in any type of diseases, some type of diseases. Okay, so first I will tell you how you have to perform the test for presence of sugar in urine. Okay, so what is the aim? To detect the presence of sugar or glucose in urine. Now what are the requirements for this particular practical? So requirements are, first you have to take urine sample. That means we will provide you the urine sample, and that you have to ensure about that glucose must be present in that particular urine sample. So at the time of examination we will provide you some urine sample, and we may mix glucose or albumin in the urine sample, but we will not tell you what is in that urine sample. You have to perform all the tests and you have to find it out that which component is present in particular urine sample, glucose or albumin. Okay, so now first let me tell you what are the requirements for the detection of the presence of the sugar in urine. So first urine sample which contains the glucose, then test tube stand, spirit lamp, Benedict solution, failing A and failing B. So for the practicals we are having two different procedures. You can perform any one. Okay, and today I will show you one of them, and next one is that procedure and observation. So first one is Benedict test and the second one is Fehling's test. So now how you have to perform this Benedict test? So you have to take 2 ml of urine sample in a test tube, and you have to add 2 ml of Benedict solution to it. You have to boil it and then you have to cool it at room temperature. Then what we will see, you will be able to find it that a green, yellow or brickish red type of precipitation will appear. This is the Benedict test. Okay, so if you find this type of coloration, then it will indicate that this is the positive result. Okay, another one is Fehling's test. So for the Fehling test, you can take 2 ml of urine sample in a test tube, and you have to add 2 ml of each Fehling solution. That means Fehling A and Fehling B. And you have to boil it for 2 minutes and then you have to cool it at room temperature. Again greenish, yellow, yellowish red or reddish type of precipitate it will be formed. Okay, so whenever you will write it down in your practical copy, write down both the experiments, but today I will show you the Benedict test. Okay, so just check how ma'am is performing. So first what we have to do, we have to take 2 ml of urine sample. Glucose. 2 ml. So you can see we have kept the burner on and we are measuring the 2 ml of urine sample. Okay, so this is the way you have to measure the amount of urine sample. So how it works? So this is the measuring thing. How it works? There is you have to put it into the beaker and you have to press it like that, and everything is marked here. Can you see it? Okay, everything is marked here. So from this portion it is denoted up to 10. So 10 is here, so you have to take it up to 8 because we are taking 2 ml of urine sample. Okay, so ma'am has taken 2 ml of urine sample into the test tube. Then let me show you the next step. That means now we will add 2 ml of Benedict solution to it. So see, this is the Benedict solution. ma'am is also taking the 2 ml of Benedict solution. Okay, so next step is that we have to boil it. Then it is the test tube holder. As we have to boil it, then we have to hold it with the help of the test tube holder. So, and you know that as you are new to the practical part, so first you have to know how you have to hold the test tube whenever you are boiling it. How? Look, let me show you. This is the test tube holder and I am holding the test tube with the test tube holder, but at the time of boiling we will hold it like this, quite slanted. Why? Because whenever we are boiling it, it may come out through the mouth. Okay, so if you keep it like this, it may come out at your hand or at your dress, or it may be to at your friend's hand. Okay, so that is why you have to keep it like this. Okay, like this, so that we can boil it properly. Okay, so you can see the color is changing. So whenever you are handling with the burner, you have to be very careful about these things. So you can see that this was the color of the Benedict solution. Okay, and what result we will get after the boiling 2 minutes? I have told you that greenish or brickish red type of coloration, you will be able to find it out. Okay, I think you can see it properly. So what will be the result? That means this indicates the presence of sugar in the urine. So we got the positive result. Just you have to perform this practical and you have to write it down. And after that, that is the conclusion part. What you will write in the conclusion part? That means in the Benedict, you have got a brickish red type of appearance. That means it is showing that intense quantity of glucose is present at the urine sample. Okay, and if you are performing the another practical, that means failing test, you can conclude. And after that, in the left side white page, you have to draw the diagram. That means you have to draw the test tubes, and whenever you are heating it, this diagram is already in the book. That means from in your comprehensive laboratory manual book. So you have to draw it on the left side of the page. Okay, so this is all about the first practical to detect the presence of sugar in urine. Now the next practical, that is to detect the presence of albumin in urine. Okay, so for that, what will be the requirements? Urine sample and test tube stand, spirit lamp, and another thing, another reagent that is required for this practical, that is sulfosalicylic acid. Okay, so what is the procedure of this particular test? That you have to take 2 ml of urine sample in a test tube and you have to add an equal volume of 30% salicylic acid and you have to heat the tube gently. So how you have to make 30% salicylic acid? You have to mix it with 30 plus 70. Means 70% distilled water and 30% salicylic acid. You have to mix it first. Okay, and that is the way by which we can prepare 30% salicylic acid. But at the time of the practical examination, I will provide you the 30% salicylic acid which will be already prepared. Okay, and you have to heat it gently. Then what we will see, a whitish or cloudy turbidity appears in the solution. So next, let me show you the next practical. So again, ma'am will take 2 ml of urine sample which contains the albumin. Yes, Bizal, good afternoon. Just wait, after the practical I will tell you your project. Okay. Vishal, can you hear me properly? So your write it down. I am telling your project topic. Okay. So your project number is 16 and the project topic is study the effect of stress hormone in survivability in drought condition of plants. Group number 16, I am repeating, study the effect of stress hormone. Study the effect of stress hormone in survivability in drought condition of plants. Moitri, haven't you checked it from the video? Because I have told you that only you have to know about your project. Why? Already I have told your name in the video, and I have also told so many times that you have to know about your project topic from the video. Okay, write it down, I am telling you, and this is the last time I am telling you. Moitri Ghosh, topic is 4. To study competition between weeds and crops. Moitri, your group is 4 and your topic is to study competition between weeds and crops. And Pushkar Saha, you are also asking me and told you to check it from the video, and your topic is project number 5 and the topic is study of age related eye disorder. Study of age related eye disorder, project number 5, Pushkar Saha. Okay. So, clear Vishal, Moitri? Now check the practical. So, ma'am has taken 2 ml of urine sample in a test tube and ma'am is adding same amount 30% salicylic acid into it, and then ma'am will heat it. Okay. Okay, so you can see a cloudy type of appearance. Okay, you can see it, that a cloudy type of appearance. So that is indicating the positive result. So you can see it properly, right? So this means that this is the positive test for albumin. Now what will be the conclusion? That in the sulfosalicylic test, the whitish or cloudy turbidity shows the presence of albumin in the urine. Okay. So this is all about the 2 practicals, that means the presence of sugar and albumin in urine, and the last part is that you have to write down some precautions. Okay. So what are the precautions? You have to use standard reagents and you have to wash the test tubes thoroughly before and after use, and another important part I have mentioned, that you have to careful how you are holding the test tubes, because it is very dangerous if you don't hold it properly. Okay. So this is all about the 2 practicals. So for today that's it. Any queries related to these 2 practicals? And Moitri and Vishal, your confusion, you are not having any confusion right now, right? About the project topic? Okay, okay. So thank you and bye bye for today, and write it down this practical in your practical copy. Okay, and you can write down the today's date in a rough page and write down the heading of the practical, so that whenever I will tell you, you can write down the actual dates when I have shown you the practical. Okay, so everyone please write it down in a rough page, not in the main practical page. Write down the date of the practicals in a rough page. Okay, so thank you and bye bye for today.